almost like the Flashpoint, where it starts, one of the key matrix lines that will help shatter this status centralized system.
Holy cow, I am back. Jay-Z coming to you, recorded live for the newest edition of Flashpoint Radio. It is Thursday, March 29th, 2012. I am coming to you from Flashpoint Radio's new studios, my dad's house. Yes, like a growing number of 30-somethings in America, I moved back in with my dad, with my wife. But I did it because I'm trying to buy a house that the government owns that they're being stupid about. I did not do it because I don't have a job and I'm not responsible. I did it because I have a loving family, and if you do, count your blessings and take use of all that your family provides for you, and love them and care for them and give back when they need it. I am blessed to have a father and a family that is supportive and loves me, and will realize that hopefully this is a temporary situation. But I am back. I hope you didn't get down without me for a week, all of my subscribers. Which I'm over 100 subscribers. Thank you to all those that have been tuning in. Remember, follow me on Twitter at Flashpoint Radio, Facebook.com/Flashpoint Radio. Click subscribe above, click like below, and reshare this with your friends. This information is paramount and needs to be spread to the four winds and the four corners of the earth. I'd like to see some people from other countries watching me. Dang it, with a name like Zwirstich, I would think I'd be able to get some Europeans to watch me. But anyways, we're going to get right into it. I don't know where to start. So much has happened in the last week with Trayvon Martin and, more fronts going on over in Israel. And things are crazy. Things are crazy. We don't know what is happening. People are going crazy on airplanes, pilots, passengers going nuts. It's Prozac, people. It's psychotropic drugs that are turning people into maniacs. Check it out. If you're on pills, get off them. Do not trust your doctor. Question your doctor as you question all authority. You are sovereign. I am sovereign. The government is not sovereign. Corporations are not sovereign. And if someone tells you you're a terrorist for being a sovereign, tell them, I don't care. I'm a sovereign. The only one more sovereign than an individual is God. God is the original sovereign, the ultimate sovereign. We're going to get right into a quick Flashpoint Radio for this newest edition from the new digs. I want to touch on Trayvon Martin and violence in general, and we're going to start, though, with some Ron Paul news, some good news from the Show Me State. This comes to us from Kansas City, KMBC.com. This happened last Saturday, March 24th. Ron Paul supporters claim victory in Jackson County, St. Louis. Ron Paul swept the St. Louis City caucuses, got all delegates, all 36 of the delegates elected by their supporters, and they got about 2/3 in Jackson County. Jackson County contains most or all of Kansas City and some of the surrounding areas. Only about 300 people showed up in St. Louis, but over 1,000 registered voters showed up in Kansas City at one place. St. Charles, why can't you get it right? St. Charles Republican Committee, Central Committee, why can't you do it right? Jackson County in Kansas City was able to do it, and Ron Paul took 2/3 of the delegates, like it should have happened in St. Charles. Of course, this headline is a bit misleading. Ron Paul supporters claim victory. And claim victory, we took victory from those who did not want to spend their time loving liberty and loving freedom. But from STLtoday.com, their headline, Ron Paul supporters dominate GOP caucuses in St. Louis, Jackson County. Very good headline. Dominated. We did dominate. Ron Paul supporters did dominate. But here's the best part about it. The very first line of this article. Ron Paul's chances of winning the White House may be minimal. Way to divert attention. Way to throw that little nugget in there of propaganda to get people down and to get people saying, well, it's not a real victory. It's a real victory. And guess what? St. Charles, your caucus got rescheduled. You know what's funny, though? I went to look for an article to quote for this, the Rescheduled St. Charles County Caucus, which is rescheduled for 7 p.m. April 10th at the St. Charles Convention Center. Funny, I did not find one article from any St. Louis news outlet, online or TV, any outlet that had a headline or had an article about rescheduling the caucus. I had to go to the newsleader.com. This comes to us from Springfield. Caucus number 2 for St. Charles County. If you wanted to know about it and you live in St. Louis, you would have had to read an article about the St. Louis City and the Jackson County caucuses, and there was one line mention about the St. Charles caucus rescheduling. Sounds like they don't want people to know about it, do they? Get this out to everybody. Ron Paul supporters are going to show up. They don't care. They'll show up once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, as long as it's truthful, honest, and we get it right. As long as people have a chance to speak their minds. And guess what? Recording devices have been allowed. Thank you, Central Committee. Thank you, Republican Party, for allowing transparency, because you know, you wanted to have transparency in the beginning, but the Ron Paul supporters were just too rowdy. So April 10th, 7 p.m., St. Charles Convention Center, over there by the casinos. Show up if you're a registered voter in St. Charles County. And if you know registered voters, send this to them. Send them a link. Get them there. We can do this. We will take the majority of the delegates in Missouri. And we do have the most delegates of all the caucus states in the United States. So if we win this, yeah, I think it will be a victory. Moving on from some positive Ron Paul news to something that's upset me and just got me so upset and ticked off. The Trayvon Martin issue. I do not relish when any person dies. It is sad when one person dies by any means. Murder, suicide, accident, car accident. It doesn't matter. A death is sad always for the family, for those that are affected. But it is a personal thing. A death is a personal thing. It should be dealt with by the family, and they should have the support of their church and their community. And if there's a problem with the police, then the community needs to get together and they need to demand answers from the police. There's nothing wrong with that. What there is wrong with is our elected federal national representatives getting in front of our Congress and talking about a local issue from Sanford, Florida. It's a local issue. I'm sorry, Bobby Rush, but it's a local issue. You're putting your hoodie on in the front of the Congress on the House floor. How about you actually deal with federal issues, issues that deal with the federal government, because you're the federal government, not the state government, not the city government, not the county government. These things can be dealt with locally, because if we don't allow them to be dealt with locally, then they won't be dealt with, because everything will get lost in the fray, and Spike Lee and Roseanne Barr and all these other famous people and all these other people that just need attention will come out and pull attention from it. And it pulls attention from the true tragedy, which is the death of Trayvon Martin. I don't know what happened. I don't know the facts. I'm not going to comment and say George Zimmerman did it and he was actually being beat up. I don't know that. I don't know that. Yeah, there should be an investigation. And if charges should be filed, they should be filed. But if they can't and shouldn't be, then they shouldn't be filed. Because we have more important things to worry about when it comes to homicide in this country. Namely, just everyday homicide. I decided to look up some rates and some statistics dealing with homicides, and I decided to go to the CDC, this comes to us from the United States Department of Justice, I believe, and I wanted to look at some homicide rates. These rates come to us, the last data comes to us from 2005, links below for all these articles. And, you know, they say that he was hunted down. It was a racial crime. Racial crime is so crazy and it's out of this world. Well, let's look at some of the actual statistics. From 1976 to 2005, 86% of white victims were killed by whites. 94% of black victims were killed by blacks. Although slightly less true than before, most murders are intra-racial, T-R-A, racial, meaning people of the same race are killing other people of the same race. It's not very often that you see people killing other people of different races. And if you do, it's always strangers. Let's look at this broken down. Percentage of all homicides by racial composition of victims and offenders. The 2005 statistics, 8.8% of homicides were black on white homicides. 3.2% of homicides were white on black homicides. So if you want to look at the statistics, blacks kill more whites than whites kill blacks. I'm not going to look at that because that's not an issue. What the issue is 42% of murders were black on black, 44% of murders were white on white. Give me a break. We're killing the same people. We're killing the people in the mirror. Can we not get this through our head that racial crimes happen? Yes, they happen, but they are individual instances, and they need to be treated as individual instances. This is being put in our face as a psychological operation to divide us. Everybody wants to divide us. The media, the federal government, everyone, all of the people looking to get money off this by printing up hoodies and everything. It's all about division. Division. We need each other. Blacks need whites, whites need blacks, Hispanics need Asians. We all need to stick together because we're under assault from our government on all levels. The government kills more people and has killed more people in the history of mankind. The number one killer of all time, democide. Death by government, not disease, not famine, not war, not anything. Democide. Governments killing civilians. Innocent civilians have killed more people in the history of mankind than anything else. It is government that is the problem. It is government that is the murderers in this country. And so we're going to look at another local article, which, of course, was not found anywhere in any of the mainstream St. Louis news. I had to go to the RFT blog. Missouri leads nation in black homicides. In Missouri, 34.72 black murders per 100,000 people. You're 7 times more likely to be murdered if you're black than a white person in Missouri. The average rate for black homicides is 17.9 per every 100,000. That's twice the national rate. 2 years in a row, 2008 and 2009, the last statistics known, we led the nation in black homicides. The nation overall homicide rate is 4.76 murders. What's going on in Missouri? Why can't we get a handle on this? Why can't we get a handle on the killing? It's not the guns. It is not the guns. It's the people that do the killing. But you know what's happening? I drive around in my job and I look around and I see billboards about let's face it, STL. So what are we doing? We're getting money from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act to quit smoking, to get people to stop smoking. How about you get people to stop killing each other and stop spending millions of taxpayer dollars to get restaurants that want to have customers that smoke, employees that smoke, and the people that go there, everyone smokes. Let them do what they want. But no, now the new thing is loopholes. The fact that there are actually some restaurants that allow smoking still. And what about those people, those employees, that one employee there that wants to be, contrarian and wants to say, I can't stand all this, then get another job. It's called freedom. You have the freedom to get another job. Are you tied to any job? No, I can quit my job. If I don't like my job, I'm going to quit my job and find another one because I have freedom. I have liberty in this country because I'm a sovereign. So yeah, we're spending millions of dollars on billboards, radio, and television ads to get St. Louis to cut the loopholes out of non-smoking so we can't have anybody smoke in this country if they want to kill themselves by doing something that's detrimental to their health. But we lead the nation in black homicides, and we're killing people at an alarming rate. But nah, that's no problem. We got to bring up one murder in the entire nation and trump it up as some giant event. It's not a giant event. It's called a psychological operation. The operators are using it to elicit a reaction from the public. They want us to be at each other's throats. Turn away from the evil. Turn your back on evil and shake your brother's hand. Turn your back on it. Don't get angry. Don't get upset. Just ignore it. Let it be dealt with by the family and the local authorities. Local, local, local. Get the federal government out of your city, people. You are the sovereign. I am the sovereign. They are not the sovereign in this country. We are the people that control this country. Thank you for watching Flashpoint Radio. I'm going to be back with you every night, hopefully, God willing. And I'm saying, God bless you all. God bless everybody in this country. Strive for liberty. And dang it, keep your eyes to the sky, because you never know where the tyranny will come from.
With the feathers of angels stuck beneath your head. No regulator, swinging bench you